PM Silver Bullet trades today. These are those trades. I sped up the video for review. First one from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. was a very straightforward trade for me. The macro beforehand does one of two things. It searches for higher time frame objectives, or it rolls over on previously profitable positions. I explained this a little bit in the last video. But for me, the macro was moving price up into a 5-minute fair value gap, where we also saw liquidity swept. We are displacement, we have a market structure shift, and we also have a volume imbalance. And as we all know, for those who study the charts, these volume imbalances often hold support or resistance rather well, especially during the silver bullet hour, I've noticed. The kangaroo tails on the displacement down always make me nervous, as if that was just filling up the fair value gap. So again, like always, I'm going to wait for that candle ring to really let me know that we are going to move further down. Notice we have SMT divergence as well with NQ. That's a really nice confluence that I'm trying to not force, but really pay attention to and look at. We get a bearish candle here, and on the next candle, if it breaches that low, that is my candle raid, and I will enter the position there. And there you have it. I am in the trade. I did take it off screen because I forgot that I wasn't recording. This happens again in this video. I do like how price surges down like this almost immediately. That makes me feel good about the trade, and we're going to hold steady here. Now you will notice that I'm trading on a new evaluation account. This is the 75K evaluation account from Apex. The PA account that I have has not gone well. So I'm strongly considering only trading Silver Bullet from here on out. We'll see. This candle starts to make me nervous. Again, we get more of these kangaroo tails, and could be liquidity sweep, I don't know. But I am not touching my stop loss. I'm keeping it where it is. I like where it's located. Ideally, I would have moved it down past that swing, the most recent swing high, that lower swing high. If that's breached, I know that price is going to go the other way. But I don't, I leave it be, but I am getting nervous, and I make a note of that. I do end up moving my stop loss up, because at this point, I was getting a little too nervous. And there we go. Price was choppy there, but then price eventually just not only to take my TP, but you'll notice it continues to crumble. I'm beginning to experiment now with leaving runners on. In fact, you're going to see that in the PM Silver Bullet. I'm starting to explore that option. And here are those two trades. From the 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern hour, Silver Bullet. Again, look at that macro that runs right before this hour. And we don't have a fair value yet for quite a while on the 1-minute chart. I know one does appear, the 2-minute eventually. But we are slowly kind of grinding on the upswing here. I am really looking for a short again. Same thing as before. I've been reminded recently that these Silver Bullet trades are often continuation trades from whatever price was doing before. Not what the macro was doing, but even before that. So in my mind, we've been bearish. We're going down. I think this macro is pushing price up to sweep liquidity. It's rolling over on previously profitable positions, and that we're going to continue down. So I'm kind of already carrying a bias with me here. I didn't think that we were going to get a bearish move until we hit that top line liquidity that I have annotated there, but I'm paying attention here as we start to get some movement. We have a volume imbalance on either side of price right now. For me to trust, I really want to see price close below this bottom volume imbalance for me to know that there's no threat of reversal. And that's kind of what I'm waiting for here. I will also note that once again, just like my losing trade last week, there is no fair value gap here. I am just playing with a volume and balance. In fact, I'm playing with prices in between two volume and balances here. So I'm really kind of hoping that price displaces a little bit more to let me know what's going on. We finally get price close below that volume balance. Once it goes up one more time, I do enter the trade. I am entering the trade off screen again because I did the same thing I did earlier. I thought I was recording that screen. I'm not. Price immediately drops down. We do not get 5 points here. And I did a really strange thing. I'm trying to play around with the ATM strategies in NinjaTrader to help me leave a runner on. And I did it wrong. I set one up, and instead of putting 5 handles at 20 points, I just put 5 points thinking it was handles. I know better, but I kind of brain farted, I guess. So I actually did the strategy wrong. So I take I take 10 contracts of micros off already, and now I have a break-even trade in place. And you'll see the markers eventually when Past Nick gets his shit together and realizes that those trades are not on the screen, which I know he does eventually. But at this point right here, I'm already out break even. I realized what I did wrong. Kind of thankful for the mistake because it gave me a net of like $62. When in reality, this should have been a loss because it does not hit 5 points and easily takes out my stop loss. Okay, there you go. Yet again, I took it off screen. Still not realizing that this is not being recorded. Now, I do like these prices. I do like this surge up like this. As you can see, I'm starting to shift my narrative. I'm now understanding that was a liquidity grab into an order block. And we have this fair value gap, which is the first 1 minute fair value gap that we've had during this hour. And we got some liquidity up above that we can draw to. So I'm liking this trade a lot. And we have our market structure shift, which makes me really like it. So at this point, I am looking for price to drop into the fair value gap. However, we have an order block nearby. And if we look to our left, we even have what I think is a breaker because it's the last green candle before our move down. And they line up perfectly. The opening of both those breaker block and order block align. And price is already tapped into it. So at this point, my mouse, you'll see it starts to leave the screen because I am getting ready to pounce and I'm thinking to myself that I may have already missed the best entry. So I'm going to take a FOMO entry, which I don't normally like to do. But as soon as this candle flips green, and actually this is a candle raid, not the one I like, but it does break that previous candle high. I enter the trade immediately on this. I take 15 micro contracts. This is my attempt to start to leave runners go. So there we go. I realized the screen wasn't on. I got it on. You can see my 15. How I have it set up is like a lot of people do. At 5 handles, the majority of my position of 10 micro contracts is taken off. I leave the remaining 5 with the aim of 10 handles, and my stop loss automatically shifts to break even at that point. That's the idea. I might keep doing this because I like to leave some runners. I don't want to oversize by having more than one mini on there. That's what is blowing up my other PA account right now is I'm using minis and I need to scale down. Mainly for my psychology. I need to scale down a little bit. So this is kind of my compromise. I'm not going to go with 4 minis. I'll do 15 macros instead. Maybe I'll bump up to 25 eventually. Okay, so I do move I manually move my stop loss to break even kind of early because we're at this DR line for those who track the DR, IDR. Often, this can be a place of liquidity grab and reversal. I don't trust it. Now, we have this chart sped up, but in real time, I can confidently tell you I was feeling a little bit anxious about this trade. I've alluded to it already. that I've had a rough week up until this point. Monday and Tuesday did not go well. I felt skittish a little bit today. So it was difficult for me to have diamond hands. I did, but I definitely was noticing a little bit more anxiety on some of these trades, and this point was one of them. I even annotated, feeling anxious here. Now I do feel good that I have my stop at break even. I'm already in the green for the day. If I have to get back some of these profits, that's fine. It's not going to blow up the PA account, even with Apex's threshold rule, or drawdown rule. If I let it sit, we got a volume bounce. That also gives me a lot of confidence as well. As I mentioned earlier, these volume bounces have been almost very, very strong. In the first trade, they were both blasted through. But in this one, it's holding strong. I do annotate here about this bullish candle raid. This does make me feel better immediately. For those, if anybody here ever followed the old Wicks Don't Lie, this was kind of the model. It was a breakout model. We break out, we surge, we get a retrace, and as soon as candle breaks the previous candle's high, we know that we're good to go for the continuation. And that's kind of what I'm thinking here. So I even moved my stop loss up a little bit, knowing that if we break that low, it's over, and I'm going to walk away with some profit. And there we go. There's 10 contracts off at 5 handles. That's right, never doubted it for a second. Just ignore everything I just said. Now at this point, I'm going to leave a trailing stop. I have to manually do it, or at least I have it set up that way. And price could continue to go up. I'm actually kind of trailing this manually pretty tight. Everything is extra at this point. I'm not trying to be too greedy, but I'm also trying to give it a little bit of space to keep going, to keep surging up. So I tend to just kind of follow this for a little bit here to really kind of maximize the profits. If this swings down and taps me out, it's still a treat to have these extra profits on the board. Now, on the other screen, because I have 2 monitors that I'm working with here, I do have the DXY and the SMT divergence, and I'm checking constantly. The DXY today, this is the 10th of May, the DXY was very, very helpful. On the 5-minute DXY chart I was looking at, there's a lot of volume imbalances that held strong. It helped give a lot of clear direction. And there we go. Now, I took the trade early. I didn't wait for the 20 handles because, like I said, I have to leave. I had to walk away from the computer. I actually had to leave my house. So I had to kind of get out there and annotate it, and it worked out great. So Silver Bullet trades are working well. They definitely seem to work better on news days. Until the next video, have a good one. See you there.